Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Criterion Connection. I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And if you notice here, we have 3 cameras here. What? This is new Criterion Connection kind of setup we're doing here. And today we're going to talk about our first Albert Brooks movie. The first Albert Brooks movie I've ever seen.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know him as an actor. I mean, he's been in multiple movies. And this is the first one I saw. We're doing Lost in America from 1985. So this was a comedy, I think.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's definitely a comedy.
It's, you have to get used to Albert Brooks' humor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, it was very iffy until we got to where he meets with his boss and the bald guy.
Yeah.
The bald guy from New York.
Right.
You got to be specific with the bald guy from New York. And that scene, that got me.
Yeah.
That's the one that got me.
Yeah, that was because he's an early, like, kind of cringy, very Woody Allen-like.
Very neurotic.
But it's very, like, he has his own spin on it rather
Yes.
than the way Woody, like, him and Woody are very different, but it's a similar kind of character mindset.
Yeah. So basically it's about this yuppie couple, this kind of like this couple that's in this mundane job, but good paying jobs. And they decide, well, he decides, I don't want to do this anymore. And she's also kind of like, she also doesn't like working where she works, but she's willing to live with it, I guess.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's these two, it's a yuppie couple that are both happy where they're at and unhappy where they're at. It's this weird place that I think really strikes home with people who were in that time period. Like, they're very successful, they were very driven, but they kind of gave up the exploratory youth part of their lives.
Yes.
And that's kind of the big thing. Like, he is second-guessing himself when they're selling the house. And he's just very nervous that he, and, on her side, she also has a job, very successful at it, but isn't really fulfilling for her. They're trying to fill that kind of void.
She also doesn't have a window in her office.
Yeah, she doesn't have a window to the outside.
Yes.
We see that she has a window.
And then basically they're like, let's just live like Easy Rider. They like using Easy Rider because they saw a movie and they're like, we could do that.
Yeah, and he's very pragmatic. So he sets up what is called the nest egg.
The what?
The nest egg.
I never even heard of this.
The nest egg.
Will you stop saying it? It's like that.
So, for those who've seen the movie, you'll get it.
Yeah.
But he sets up this idea of, like, we're going to go and we're just going to travel the country. We're going to live a bohemian kind of lifestyle. And wherever we end up and we have some money with us to set up our lives there.
My favorite scene in the entire movie is the stuff with Gary Marshall. I mean, he's the casino manager. And he's like...
She's down. Go talk to her.
He's like, I like Wayne Newton. And he's like, it's like Miracle on 34th Street. No, Santa Claus. Santa Claus did all the work. It's just like these great scenes. You know you're getting something great when Albert Brooks is like sitting down in an office, anything.
And he's trying to explain something from his point of view to somebody else.
It's very neurotic, very dry. It's very brisk, too. There's not much of a plot. It's kind of like, it's funny that they're going to go on this adventure and then realize this adventure sucks and they go back. It just one of those things like, it was just a bad trip. It was not like this journey. It was just like, we had a bad few couple days.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very interesting to see kind of, like, if you ever see, like, Albert Brooks' stand-up, and then see how it is compared to when he writes a film. You get a bit of the core, like, perspective, but it is very different. Like, it's not laugh out loud funny.
No.
It's just like... This movie especially is just darkly humorous. Where you're just like, should I be laughing? Like, this couple is not... Like, they're hanging on by a fringe.
Like the one they're, like, at the Grand Canyon?
The Hoover Dam.
The Hoover Dam, that's right. And, they start yelling across from each other, and then the family's like, let's just leave. And it's like, this is a really tense scene, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
There is a great cameo appearance by Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. He's the one that beats up Albert Brooks, the criminal.
Yeah, the wanted guy.
He apparently murdered him, but they were dead when he got there. The two were dead when he got there. Oh, that's really believable. As a couple, like, they have their issues, but they do love each other in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when Asher gets beat up, and he's like, I could take him, and they were both laughing and kidding around, stuff like that. Like, that's fun.
Yeah, and it's like, it's a couple that's not... Because it's not perfect. It's realistic. It's not... There's no problems. They find problems, and they find ways to get through them, sometimes tougher than others, you know, where she's like, well, give me 6 weeks in Nevada, and, you know, we'll be divorced, you know. Yeah, it's a strange kind of humor when you're seeing two people, like, yell at each other. But, like, nobody's perfect. Like, she tries to support him. She gambles all the money away. And
the nest egg.
Yeah, he can't... Like, he's trying to figure out how to process it. And he's losing his mind with anger and, like, blame and everything. But he still figures out a way to get over it. And it just takes time. And it takes working through those emotions, which I always really liked in Albert Brooks movies. The emotions are normally there, and they're human.
It's such good performances. It makes me a big fan of Albert Brooks even more. I mean, I've seen him in some movies. Like, I think recently I saw him in Drive. I mean, I've seen Drive many times, but he's in Drive. He's great in Drive.
He's amazing in Drive.
Yeah, he's a real piece of crap in Drive. But, you know, there's a lot of great performances. It's brisk pace. It's a simple story. Mm-hmm. It's not reinventing the wheel in a, you know, stretch of the imagination. No. It reminds me of, like, Mel Brooks's Life Stinks.
Okay.
Kind of like that. Like, it's just like, it's a very small story. Mm-hmm. Met with, like, well, 1 or 2 people, and that's it.
Right.
Very isolated things. It also made me think of, like, National Lampoon's Vacation. There's these set pieces. Like, at the Hoover Dam. They're at the trailer park. They're not the trailer park. Yeah, the trailer park. The trailer park. They're at the casino. Different little things. Mm-hmm. Little set pieces. And in the end, they're just like, we can't do this.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's one of the things I don't necessarily like. It's, you know, it's a very dated message. You're dealing with, you know, yuppies in the 80s. And the fact that they can fall out and just drop out of that life and then immediately get back in.
Well, he went back in, but he didn't get much pay, but he got good dental.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, but and that's part of the joke, but I just don't, to me, that message implies, like...
Just give up.
Yeah, you might as well just stick with this boring life you don't like.
Just conform.
Yeah, and I don't really like that. Like, part of it is, like... Yeah, you can screw up, but you can fix your mistakes later. Like, I like that part. But the other part is just, like, just don't try and live your life.
Yeah.
Don't go for it. Just, you know, be in your middle-class malaise for the rest of your life. Retire. Get your nest egg.
Yeah, you gotta get that nest egg.
Yeah, and that's the part I don't really like as much, and I don't really think translates to this time period. That we live in.
Yeah. I guess the big question is, would you recommend the movie?
I would. I think this is a great movie for, like, a Sunday afternoon, like, on like, TBS or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's there isn't too much offensive, like, there's a little bit of offensive language, but it's a relatively, like, simple movie that I think anybody could get into and watch, and I don't think it'll turn too many people away. Like, it just keeps going. But I think it's perfect for that.
I'm the same boat. It's a harmless movie that you're gonna have fun with regardless. Some people probably will not laugh out loud on this, but it's still humorous. It's humorous, and it's a fun little... Like I said, there's not much of a... It's not like Looper or like Inception, where you have to really pay attention. It's not a Christopher Nolan movie. Could you imagine if Christopher Nolan did Lost in America? It'd be a lot of loud noises and a lot of confusing things, and Tom Hardy would have something on his face. But yeah, like Inception's like you have to really pay attention. This one you don't have to.
Yeah, it's very kind of
Easy Rider-esque.
It's very much like Easy Rider. You can just turn it on and follow it easily.
So that is our thoughts on Lost in America. Let us know in the comment section below what's your favorite part of the movie. What's another Albert Brooks movie or a movie similar to this. Also, click like, subscribe, and share so you can spread the word of Criterion Connection. Until then, I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And we will see you later.